Hey, it's Mike, and I'm back in the Ask a Perry a Question series, and shoot. So decaf coffee. Coffee is not necessarily grown decaffeinated. Most coffee is grown has caffeine in it inherently, and there's processes that are done after the fact where the caffeine is removed. A few of them that are different ways that are done, but that removes the caffeine. To be considered decaf, it should remove 97% of the caffeine. So within that, I always tell people if caffeine can affect you, or some people late at night it may, and myself it doesn't. I can drink espresso and go right to bed. I know because I drink too much or what, but I'm a little bit fortunate there. So I say, you know what? Buy a decaf that tastes good. And to me, that's the most important thing. So yeah, different coffees will have different caffeine levels, but the normal caffeinated coffee is all fairly close together. There's not too big a difference. A darker roast, because as you roast darker, more stuff leaves as you see smoke coming out, let's just say during roasting, like a well-done steak again. More things dissipate in the air and in the smoke. Part of that can be a little bit of caffeine. So in theory, a decaffeinated, or I should say a darker roasted coffee may have a little less caffeine, even though it tastes stronger. That said, it's a minor amount. You're talking maybe 10%. I don't know that it really would affect you that much. If it does, and you have a real light tolerance to it, perhaps a dark one's the way to go. Or in that case, drink a decaffeinated coffee you really like. So when it comes to a great cup of coffee, there's several things involved. Just like with a great meal, you've got to have great ingredients. So yes, you need a great bean. And when we're buying beans, we're looking for the best we can get, but also the best at a value, fair price to the people that we sell to you. In coffee we talk about sustainability. Sustainability to the farmer, so he can be there year after year. But sustainability also goes to the consumer, yourself. If I'm going to charge you 10 times as much, or we've actually bought some geishas that we paid a world record price on, and it was a fantastic coffee. Was it worth 1,000 times more than another coffee, even though we paid that? Probably not, but it was a wonderful experience. It's something that was worth doing once, and I hope everybody can enjoy that. But can you drink that every day? No. So our goal is to find a mixture of coffee, but also for day in and day out, we want a wonderful coffee, but also at a price you can afford. So we look for wonderful, great coffees at a fair value price, and we pay the farmer a great price. We sell it to you at a price you can afford, and we make enough that we can be able to pay our people on our team to be working for us to produce for you. Can all beans be roasted per preference? I think overall, yes, you can. If you generally like light roasted beans, you should probably roast all your beans lighter. That said, they're not going to all be the same exact temperature. You're going to find each one's going to vary slightly. You're going to find each profile is a little bit different. You're going to find the roasting times that you do is a little bit different. So, some beans I may like a little bit more of a light roast. Some I might want a medium roast. It depends on what I'm trying to get out of it. If I'm trying to get a bit of a let's say brightness and citrus, that usually highlights it a lighter roast. If I'm trying to get the chocolate, that's more of a medium. If I want caramel, it's more of a medium plus. Think of sugar, you got to caramelize the sugar. So it depends a bit on what characteristics I'm trying to get out of it. Can they be roasted anywhere in between? Of course they can. It depends on what you like and what you're trying to get out of it. And that's when you buy coffee, you want to buy one that's going to produce that flavor or has that taste that you want. And if you're roasting, you want to roast to where it's the best. And that's why we talk about peak of flavor roast style. Where's the flavor at its peak? If I'm buying a coffee that is known for its chocolate, why am I going to under roast it to not let the chocolate shine? Why am I going to over roast it to hide the chocolate flavor? I'm going to roast it where that chocolate shines. So I think with each bean, you want to see what the characteristics of the taste are and let that dictate where it should be roasted. Not at all. Just like with apples or oranges or anything else. We have real small beans that are called pea berries, where it's like a little round pea and it's very, very small. Also, Ethiopian varieties are typically very small. With coffee, we grade it or measure it, and there's different terms in different countries, and some have AA and some have prime and some have extra fancy, like from Hawaii. But in reality, there's a size that it is, and we call it a screen size. And what that means is you get a, basically think of your screen door, but a little bit bigger. Screen size. You know, the holes are the squares in between the screens, and we call them numbers like 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20. And what that means, if it's a screen 19, that means the dimension going across that screen is 19/64ths of an inch. So that means a bean that's bigger than that won't fall through. So a bean that's a 15/64ths is going to fall right through that. So normally at the mills where we get the coffee from, they will have different screens that the coffee drops through, and the ones that are bigger than 19 will stay above that. The ones that will drop down, then it'll catch them at 18. It would be the ones that are between 18 and 19. The smaller ones fall, and that will go all the way down to a certain size. A lot of the Ethiopian varietals are typically smaller, 13, 14s. Some people believe that big beans taste better. And in Kenya, for example, we have the AAs, which is the biggest size screen beans, the 19s, 1964s. But one of the better coffees I've ever had was an AB. And an AB is, a size 17, so it's a little bit smaller. We've also got the pea berries, and some people believe the pea berry, even though it's smaller, tastes better because it's got more, all the flavor packed in this dinky little bean. But I think it just comes down to flavor, and you have to taste. I don't think size should dictate the quality of bean any more than it should dictate the quality of a person. So I think you have to be fair to it, and you have to taste it. And if it tastes great, awesome. But yes, they do all grow at different sizes, but don't let that affect what you buy. So at Klatch Coffee, we're certified organic, and in fact, tomorrow I have an organic inspection. We have that annually, and then surprise ones in addition. We also have a huge food safety program. But for organic, it's really traceability. So it starts at the farmer, at the producer, where they have to be certified organic. So third parties go out, they check their soil, they check the growing conditions, they make sure there's no chemicals for at least 3 years. If they were previously, they have to be 3 years of not having any chemicals on there. Just like think of fertilizers, they have to be organic fertilizers, they can't have chemicals in them. They can't be spraying herbicides and pesticides that contain chemicals in them. So they monitor them first, then it's traced. And it's a traceability that what ships there and what he grows does get shipped through an importer, and they have to be certified organic. And in warehouses, they have to be kept in organic sections. And when it comes to us as a coffee roaster, if I buy organic beans and I'm not certified organic, I cannot sell them as organic. It has to be everybody along the way. Specific to us, they're checking the paperwork and the coffee and the traceability that what we're selling as organic is truly organic. So it's a big part of it is traceability. Another big part is labeling, that we're labeling it correctly. We can't say partial organic or grown organic. You can with some crops, you can't with coffee. So we have to be able to be on top of that. When they come into our facility, they're checking everything from the training that we give our employees to what we use to handle the coffee, to where we store it, to how we package it. So many things that we comply with, not counting the heavy fees that we have to pay to be certified organic and the cost. And the people coming tomorrow are going to cost me $3,000. That said, I think the farmers that are able to grow organic, sometimes you get a smaller yield, and I give them all the kudos and the thanks for being able to grow that. I love that they care enough about that to be able to do that. But as far as testing the actual beans here, no, they don't test them. We do every batch we do. You look at the bottom of the bag and you'll see a 5-digit code, and that's a batch code, so we can trace it back to what we did. And in our record keeping in our computers, we can tell from that batch the exact roast that we did, the exact profile. We can look at exactly what green was put in there, what the bag markings were on that, and where they came from. It goes back to traceability, to recall. The coffee's not dangerous like some things can be, but it's all traceability, and we can be able to do all that stuff here at Klatch, so you have that comfort that you're knowing it's there. But as far as testing for metals, no, they're not testing for metals in here. We do have processes to make sure that we have destoners and magnets and things that remove metals in our processing and our roasting and packaging, but specifically to testing the beans themselves for metals, no. Thank you for submitting your questions to Ask a Perry. If you have more, drop them in the comments, send an email. Love to talk more about coffee.